So one of the challenges facing higher education is research and the knowledge on how to carry it, what to do, where, when, and how. So today we are going to meet different professionals like professors, lecturers, and of course different students and beneficiaries. Now today we are focusing on NIMRA, which is the Network for Education and Multidisciplinary Research Africa. My name is Amuge Victoria and you are welcome to the Education Forum, a show that digests the trends and development in the education sector. Stay tuned. Let's start our first conversation with Dr. Juliet Chayesimira, the manager of the Network for Education and Multidisciplinary Research Africa. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
First and foremost, we'd like to know the background of NIMRA, where it started, when it started, how it started, why it was started.
Okay, thank you so much. So, dear viewers, NIMRA in full is Network for Education and Multidisciplinary Research Africa. This was a network that was started way back in 2019 with a name of mainly mentoring early career researchers and postgraduate students who were pursuing their different courses. Mainly this network was developed as an independent group for researchers and academic researchers and senior practitioners, for them to be able to network and share views, but more so to be able to bridge that gap that was between the supervisors and the students. So mainly we wanted to see research students across Africa and in different research organizations collaborating, having a platform where they would come and share ideas, where they would get that kind of support that you would want to get.
All right, now when you're speaking about NIMRA, it seems like it has a lot that it can bring to the table. Now when you're speaking about national development, how does NIMRA promote national development in the country?
Okay, thank you so much. One of our mottos is excellence in research for societal transformation. We'd want to see research which links to our society problems. Would want to see a society where researchers are contributing heavily on community development. We want to break that gap that has been there, where we find most of the researchers only end up on library shelves. So we would want to bridge that gap, whereby our research which we do is known to the outside, and more so to policy, forming policy and practice.
Okay. Well, you're talking about how researchers have done their research and then it remains on the shelves and they don't share their work with anyone. Now, as NIMRA, what exactly are you going to do to change this perspective? And how are you going to share your work with the people who are necessary to share it with?
Thank you. Why NIMRA exists is mainly to provide that platform whereby we give inter-university researchers and more so other researchers in other organizations where they are able to share their researches, and also where we are able to develop the different people who are into research, to give them skills for capacity building, for them to be able to do quality research, which can be able to transform our society.
Okay. You have talked about networking and collaboration between universities or institutions. Now, since you're providing this platform for inter-university networking and collaborations, which kind of universities are we looking at? Because we have public universities, we have private universities. Which ones exactly are eligible to this? And then we also have institutions.
Okay, thank you very much. Any university, whether private or public, can become part of NIMRA. So we have institutional membership, we have individual membership, and right now in the current workshop that is going on, we have participants from all over Uganda and even across in other countries. We have those who are from far, from Tanzania, Ghana, Zambia, who are online, but also we have students, postgraduate students, and senior career researchers from different universities. Makerere, Mbuchambogo University, we have Mutesa Royal, we have Ndeja University, we have Gulu, we have IU. Everyone is involved. As long as you hear the word of this network, and as long as the vision excites you, this is a place where to belong. As long as you fall in the category of a postgraduate student or early career researcher or senior researcher, this is a network where you can belong and you benefit.
Okay. Now this network has existed for about 5 years.
Yes.
It was started in 2019.
Yes.
Yes. Do you think your mission or your vision is coming to light now?
Very much so. Our vision and mission is coming to light because the founders foresaw there was a lot of time the students would enroll on these graduate studies, either at master's level or at postgraduate, at PhD level. Many of them would stay so long on the academic journey. But with other support that NIMRA has been providing, because we offer monthly trainings depending on the needs at hand, we've seen several students able to graduate. If you check our website, you will see these testimonies. It's not self-creation, but these are people who have been impacted on and who have really benefited, and many of them have been able to complete their academic journey. Okay. And if you're able to come with us on Wednesday for our dinner, you will hear some of the testimonies of both men and women who have benefited from this kind of network, from the kind of support that NIMRA offers, and they've been able to do their graduate studies and finished on record time.
Okay.
Because we mainly offer mentorship, we offer trainings according to the needs at hand, and more so we are now encouraging people to let the public know about the researches they have done, newsifying your research. Making sure that our research does not only end in the libraries, but it is known by different people out there, both policy practitioners and communities at large.
Okay. Well, you're talking about trying to reduce the prolonged degrees and PhD that the students are having in terms of supporting them in research. So how exactly, one thing I would like to really understand is how exactly does the NIMRA help shorten that lifespan of education for these students?
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, when a student starts graduate studies, usually there is research you're asked to do. But many people you find research is a little bit abstract. So we offer trainings and we work with the students to make sure that they are able to do quality research, and they are guided through different research skills and methods. Yeah, and also we provide mentorship, because we have senior researchers who have also walked through this journey. We attach our members a mentor, and this mentor is able to provide guidance. So through the member and the mentee and mentor, they are able to create like their schedule where they meet and interact, and the student is able to share, the mentee is able to share their fears, their needs, and then the mentor walks them through. But also we create a platform where also, let's say we have NIMRA ladies, because we know the enrollment or the finish line for the ladies into higher education tends to lower as you advance in education. We tend to offer a platform where ladies are able to interact, because the issues that affect us as ladies are unique to men. Yeah. Because you find you're juggling through career, you are a mother, you have career, you are a wife, and many other things that are surrounding. But when you find that you have a platform where you're able to talk freely and share, then you find you're helped. So in the process, what could have come or what you thought was a challenge is kind of solved, because you already talk to someone who has either walked through or has a different experience altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I think this is very developmental. It's lovely
Yeah.
and it's helpful. Like now, earlier on you mentioned something like having specialists. Of course, the mentors you're
Yes.
talking about to help the students during their research.
Yes.
Because in most cases, the professors, the lecturers do not really have much of this time to support them, and research is scary for anyone who is beginning it, because it sounds like it's a lot of work, and then you have to move around, and then we have plagiarism, and sometimes students do not understand this. In most cases, it's easier for them when they go to the internet, research someone's work, and then put it as their
Copy
own.
and paste.
But then they do not know how exactly to use copied work with their own work and refer it to. So as NIMRA, how is this going to help students in the university? Because it's a challenge. Personally, when I was a student in school, research was such a big challenge because there was no that kind of mentorship.
Okay. Thank you very much. Actually, this is the gap that NIMRA realized, and that's what actually we hinge on. And the network has senior researchers, we have professors, because even on our board, the chairperson board of NIMRA is Professor Nema Stella. She's a lady, but also a well-established researcher. And many other researchers I can mention. We have Professor Bazeyo, a very well-established researcher, is our technical advisor. We have Dr. Royce Natkunda, we have Dr. Christine. All these are well-established researchers who are always available to offer this kind of support. So you find, of course, the issue of plagiarism is very common. Now with the rise of internet, it's not like in old days where you'd have to go to the library read, but with internet you find a person can use just Google something and just wants to copy and paste. That's not how things work. Many times this information, this knowledge might not be shared in class, or even through your supervisor. So it's through this network that we are trying to bridge a gap and trying to build capacity of a researcher to be able to do quality research. If you have read someone's work, you should be able to cite them. You should be able to recognize them. So they teach you several ways of how you can write scholarly work, okay? At the level where you find maybe people are already at a point of senior researchers or other career researchers, they are also taken through how you can write grant-winning proposals. Of course, also that is the same trend. You find that also these students also need this skill. So there are different plagiarism softwares which are out there, which they might not teach you in class, but so it's through this network that you can be able to gain different skills. There are different softwares that can help you to be able to check your work for plagiarism. Of course, it's criminal to copy and paste, yeah? So we always take them through. Even when you're to reference, how do you reference? Different referencing styles you can use, and many other things.
Okay. Well, NIMRA seems to be having some kind of programming where it runs, or programs that it has. What are some of these programs and how do they help in the running of NIMRA?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. So first of all, we have a training and mentorship department. Now, training and mentorship department mainly coordinates monthly trainings, and also it coordinates the mentorship program.
Okay.
Then we have, if you are a member, you are given an accountability group or a writing group. So when you are in your writing stages of your thesis or whatever it could be, because as academicians you will always write. If you're through with your graduate studies, then maybe now you want to write different grants. So we are usually attached a writing group. So that is one department. Then we have another one of research and publications. Of course, once you do your research, you'd want to publish it. So that department mainly actually works with our members to make sure that they're able to conduct quality research, then they're able to publish But also, if you have students and let's say they want to present their proposal, they want to defend their either master's thesis or their PhD thesis, we usually create a platform where we usually first give them a platform where they can do mock vivas. So we have these senior researchers critiquing, such that before you go to present to your supervisor, at least you have quality work and polished research. And that's kind of support that any person would need to know that there are people who care out there. Otherwise, this journey, the graduate journey, can become lonely.
Yeah,
and so you need someone to hold
you
you by
finish your
your
research and take it to your supervisor or lecturer, and they're going to tell you, no, yeah, I don't like it, you've done this, you've done that. And because they do not have enough time for you, they tell you, go and work on this. But then there's sometimes where you feel like you really need that support. How am I going to tackle this? What angle am I taking? So I think that is very interesting.
Yeah. So the research and publication department comes in handy. Then we have people, of course, now who are the department which helps us to mobilize and advocate for our vision and mission. So we have that department is headed by Ms. Hadija Yahaya, Mobilization and Advocacy. So these ones are trying to make sure that they link us to government. Also we have, they make sure also they link more institutions, because we would want to see also more universities join on board.
Yeah.
Many other research organizations join on board, so that we have the same voice, so that our mission and vision, our research outputs are known out there. They don't just remain on paper. Okay. Then of course, okay, I already talked about the training and mentorship that is headed by Dr. Gad Ruzaza, who is based in Mbarara University. Then the one for research and publication is headed by Madame Nagawa Goretti. So we have fully fledged department. Then we have our finance and administration here, and it's headed by Mr. Vincent Sechtoreko. And Mutesa Royal has been housing us ever since inception. And we appreciate Mutesa Royal University for that beautiful partnership and collaboration.
Okay. Lastly but not least, you spoke about universities coming to join into this network and collaboration.
Yes.
Now, speaking of the universities, are there any universities that have already joined in that you're working with?
Yes, thank you very much. Like I already mentioned, we have several universities. Mutesa Royal University is one. Then we have been collaborating and working with Makerere University. And then we have Mbarara University of Science and Technology, which we've been working with. We have Bugema University, which we've been working with. Ndeje University has also been on board. And right now, Chambogo is on board, is getting on board. And many other universities, I think, will soon. Maybe the other university I'm forgetting is Uganda Christian University. It has been giving us a lot of support, and we've had beautiful partnerships and collaborations.
Okay. Well, for every organization to be successful, there are always stakeholders. I would not leave here before asking that question. Who are your stakeholders, and how are you working hand in hand with the government to make sure that research becomes of value and is first priority?
Okay, thank you very much. Importantly, actually, as a research entity, we found that it was very relevant to have connections or partnerships with Uganda National Science, the Uganda National Council of Science and Technology. You know, it's the one which is tasked with making sure that there is quality research and it does approval. So we have a partnership, and there is actually also research that we are doing to make sure that we have clear guidelines on research management. So this is research we have that collaboration with UNST, and this is the research also we are doing with them, and they are our main stakeholders. And of course, the postgraduate students are the other stakeholders in NIMRA, the senior career researchers, and then other organization practitioners. Because we have also on our board, we have representatives. One representing the students, both locally and internationally. We have the government represented. We have universities represented, and many others. So we want every other aspect, every other entity that is into research, part and parcel of this very beautiful mission that NIMRA has. And we think with this agenda, Uganda is headed for better things. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Juliet.
You're welcome.
It was nice having you on the show.
It was
because there's
so
still
nice.
so much to talk about with you, but yes. But that's where we shall end.
Okay, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our first conversation with Dr. Juliet, and she has had a lot to say. And basically, NIMRA is an organization that helps bring different universities together and, of course, help them with research. This is a challenge that many students have had in school, especially when pursuing higher education in terms of research, plagiarism, like we have mentioned, and so much more. But yes, there's still so much to learn about NIMRA. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Our conversation with NIMRA still continues, and joining me right now is the board, one of the board members, Patrick Mutabwire. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so when I listen or hear about NIMRA,
Yes.
it is very interesting, and it comes with a lot of core values, especially to the students, which is very beneficial.
Yes.
And the board seems to have a number of formidable members that are rich in information and knowledge. Who are some of these members, and how do you work hand in hand?
There are about five, 6 members. The composition of this network is basically with the members on academia. There are those on the private sector like ourselves, but I'm also a student at university learning research. We have those who are representing students. So the network itself is basically to try to ease out issues dealing with research and demystify what people out there call research. When they hear about research, they think it's very complicated. But it's trying to find a method of understanding a problem so that you can present it with an answer where you have facts. That's what I would simply say.
Okay.
So our chairperson, Professor Stella Nema, is from Makere. She's an anthropologist. You will have time to interact with her. So that's the board, the way we work.
Okay. Well, someone who's watching may be asking, who is Patrick Mutabwire?
Patrick Mutabwire is a retired public administrator. I worked in the local government sector mainly, up to a level of director for local government.
Okay.
But I was also permanent secretary and accounting officer for 4 years, from 2011 to 2015. And I grew up in the ladders. I started my work as a county chief, those who remember in 86, until where I reached.
Okay.
So I have vast knowledge about the workings in the local government sector and also in the government. And I'm a consultant.
Okay.
I do some work, I help some governments to shape up their local government.
Okay.
Even up to today, I retired in 2020, but I still do some work, do consultancies, engage in some bit of academic teaching, and so on.
Okay, well, the fact that you have worked with government before, and you probably still help government in some way, how is the works with NIMRA and the networking relevant to the government?
See, if you look at the objectives and the focus of NIMRA, we are talking about academic research that enhances not only academics, but also policy. Government, up to now even, focuses on evidence-based policy making. And for you to get evidence to advance policy, you must have undertaken basic research. on a phenomenon, how it presents itself, and what remedies from a policy perspective you can apply to that. That requires research, and this is the core role of NEMRA. So NEMRA can work with the government institutions to advance, to make the institutions take decisions which are properly arrived at based on evidence, but also can help the universities to advance or to help on questions of students who are undertaking research, so that they can take shorter time but produce quality results.
Okay. Now, well, as someone knowledgeable as you are, and the experience that you have had in these fields and different other fields,
yes.
What exactly is lacking in our research sector that needs to be tackled?
To me, the question of prioritization of research, if you go to government, and I was in the government, in the Ministry of Local Government, for instance, I never had a section of dedicated basically to research. But what we did in the Ministry of Local Government, we tried to bridge the gap ourselves. For instance, working with my colleagues in the Ministry of Local Government, we worked with Makerere, and we were able, from our practical aspect and the academic point of view, able to craft out a course on gender and local economic involvement, which was a postgraduate diploma, which was being taken by both people in local governments and others who liked. So that kind of blend, they bring those who are on the academic side and fusing it with the practitioners. That is where the competitive edge that NEMRA has.
Okay. Well, it's clear that research does not only involve sciences, medicine and stuff like that. Research is versatile and it's very open. Now, it's clear that NEMRA involves a lot of different sectors like human resources, social workers, and so much more, coming hand in hand to make sure that this network and collaboration reaches its goals. So why exactly is it important to put all these different sectors to work together?
Yeah, you see, that's why even in the name it is multidisciplinary research. It means that a phenomenon observed from one angle may not reflect the whole truth. So looking at it from various angles helps the person who is taking a decision or who is going to advance in data academics to take a decision informed by what? By the data collected from that multidisciplinary aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And NEMRA also has a goal of helping students pursue a shorter but of course higher education when studying. So why is it very important for students to pursue higher education in this era?
No, you see, in terms of knowledge, the knowledge has its own ladder. You get in at primary, you keep on advancing, you reach university, you do your first degree, you advance in that area, you do masters, you go on, you do PhD. That's building knowledge. So the role of NEMRA here is to not only build the quantum or quantum of knowledge, but also its quality. Imagine if students were taking longer the cycle, you will have less finishing the cycle, or there will even be attrition. So what NEMRA comes around, like we are now currently this course on advanced research methods, is for people to know how to conduct research. And once you get the knowledge, then it will help you to move faster into what you are supposed to do. Yes, the universities teach, but when you compare with other universities, like now we have a professor from Birmingham City University. He brings in new perspectives and infuses them with what we know, and the students get a richer grasp of what they are trying to study.
Okay. Now, we have had a number of natural calamities. Of recent, we had the Katonga River flooding, and of course, we've had other floods the other years, and this has led to a lot of loss of lives, cattle, and so much more. Now, has there been any research done like before highlighting some of these issues?
Well, I was reading, there was an article I was reading, I forgot the name of the writer, but recently it was trending. And I think he had done some research on that particular area. In fact, for the first time I learned that he was saying that in the 400,000 years of Lake Victoria, it had dried 4 times, and it took it 40 years to refill every time it dried. I didn't know that component, but someone has focused on it, and such information, that in-depth analysis, helps the policymakers to respond to problems that may be such around that particular problem. I got to know, for instance, from that same article, that the Karamoja problem of drought is originating somewhere from Ethiopia, that side. So once you get to know, then the question will be, how does a government design interventions that can mitigate what is already naturally represented? By the time the winds come here, they have no rain, because the rain has been sapped away somewhere. So can we do an artificial intervention? Then this is what research would really help us.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Patrick. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or add on?
No, what I'm saying, that wish that both institutions of higher learning prioritize and put a little bit more resources on research, and also government does the same. And then we have the government and the academicians coming together to on a defined agenda, which both of them can work on to better the policies that are used for intervention to transform our society and make it a better place to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. It was nice having you on the show.
Thank you.
All right, we are glad to be joined by Barbara Kayondo, who is one of the pioneer members of NIMRA. You're welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
Right, so tell us more about you.
As you said, my name is Barbara Kayondo. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Information Systems, a faculty of Applied Computing and Informatics at Makerere University Business School, and I'm a PhD student. I'm pursuing a PhD in Information Systems at the University of Cape Town in South Africa.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Well, NIMRA has existed for about 5 years. So how has it benefited you as a person?
In ways that I cannot explain. What is exciting for me to share with you is that I attended the first formation meeting of NIMRA. Back then I was a student. I was pursuing a master's in monitoring and evaluation, and I just got to know it from within my circles. So because I had special interest in research, and first of all I was jumping through different fields. I had the master's in in IT, and then comes the master's in M&E. When I saw interdisciplinary, I was looking for a family that can accommodate my differences, and then I formed NIMRA. But what I've got is professional development. We have series of workshops which skill us in research, for instance, grant writing, doing a literature review, how to get applicable, research. So I've grown in the academic ladder, and my research skills have been enhanced. But also we have this family out of academia, like a support family. If you want to talk to the ladies, we have a group for ladies. Anything about academia, it's quite challenging for a lady to be a mother, to be a wife, and an academic. So you always have a fallback position. So I find NIMRA a safe space where you can share anything from academia, from any other aspect of life. So that is NIMRA for you.
Okay, well, there's so many ladies like you outside there that would probably want a chance to pursue their education higher, but then they have a lot of obstacles. So what do you think is the importance of pursuing higher education at this moment?
At this moment, for me, I think when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And an educated woman is an enlightened woman. So I think it's about prioritizing, what you need to do. But being a woman and a mother and a wife, etc., given the context of Africa, shouldn't stop us from doing what we want, from studying, from pursuing our academic careers. Only if you could get a supportive environment, supportive family, supportive friends, supportive workplaces. I think organizations countrywide or globally should be inclusive enough to include women and support them further in their education, which can in turn lead to interesting things, developing of the country, even developing our small little units at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, since the beginning of NIMRA as an organization, like for you as an individual, what are some of the challenges that you may have come across or faced?
With NIMRA specifically?
With NIMRA and you personally?
I don't think there is much. Maybe the distance between the location of the offices, especially to attend the physical workshops. But even then, it's always blended. So if I cannot come physically, then I am online. Though I'm always eager to come physically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. It was nice having you.
And thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. So like we mentioned earlier, NIMRA is a multidisciplinary network that of course joins different universities together to come together and share knowledge and get more knowledge on research and so much more. But yes, we have so much conversations and so many conversations coming your way. Well, stay tuned. Right, we have another conversation with one of the beneficiaries, Salam Mujib. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So tell us more about Salam Mujib. Who is Salam Mujib?
Okay, Salam Mujib is a Nigerian, but firstly becoming a Ugandan, because I've spent 9 years here. Okay. I was a Nigerian ambassador with small letter A, who was sent by the Nigerian government to come and assist in establishing a medical school in Uganda in the year 2014. And by God's grace, I was part of the technical aid volunteer sent by Nigeria to start the Abib Medical School of Islamic University in Uganda.
How has NIMRA benefited you as a person? Are you a student? Are you a lecturer? In what ways has NIMRA benefited you?
Yes, I came to know about NIMRA about 3 years ago when I started my PhD at Mount Kenya University at Thika, Kenya. So I learned the upcoming student and the new career people in academics on how to finish their PhD, all the nitty-gritty of it, they assist. So that's how I learned about them, and I inquired about the requirement to be a member. So when I met all the requirements, I was admitted as a member. And since 3 years ago, I've been attending all the programs. Every month, they have regular seminars, which I attend. Then through the seminars, I've benefited from all the resource persons they have been bringing to give seminar. So through all the training I've gotten, I was able to win 2 grants through their research grant writing workshop, which I've attended. Then apart from that, I'm a lecturer with Islamic University. All the knowledge I gain and the skills have been very helpful for me in updating my teaching skills and imparting on my students. I also supervise medical students and nursing students. So all the trainings I've gotten has made me a better person than how I came here 9 years ago. So I've really benefited a lot. So that's what I can say.
Okay, in your own opinion, why do you think NIMRA is important in our society today?
NIMRA is aspiring to link all the academics in Africa. And they have been doing that effectively. Now we have many members outside Uganda. Also, we have facilitators from US, like the current program that is being organized was facilitated by a senior lecturer, Dr. Samuel Peters from UK. So with that, they have been able to impart on many students, many difficulties we find in Africa in pursuing PhD. They have been able to solve the problem. So really, NEMRA has contributed a lot to helping people, to solving problems which people face in academics. And by reaching out to Ugandan lecturers and outside Uganda, they are making academics easier. They are bringing quality into teaching, to research. Many things that we don't know, many facilities that we don't have, they are bringing people who can train us, who can help us, who can guide us. And with that, it's making life easier for academics. And by the time the lecturers are becoming better, automatically the students are becoming better, the future generations are becoming better. So there is hope that we are going to be doing things better than what it used to be.
Okay.
Before, PhD, people will spend 10 years, but with kind of training we have, now people finish within record time of 3 years or maximum of 4 years. And many people are also being encouraged to pursue PhD. Okay. So I think NEMRA has really helped in solving most of these problems.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Salam, it's nice having you on the show. Right, on set with me is another beneficiary of NEMRA, and she is Dr. Harriet Nachigozi. Well, you're welcome to the show. It's nice having you. So somebody watching may be asking, who is Dr. Harriet Nachigozi? What do you do? Who are you?
Okay, Dr. Harriet Nachigozi is a laboratory scientist by training. She has a bachelor's and master's from Makerere University in laboratory sciences and management, and a PhD in public health policy and global health. She works with the Ministry of Health in the Department of Laboratory Services.
Okay.
She's a lecturer. She's a young career, or what you can call a career researcher.
Okay.
And she's passionate about reading.
All right, that's very interesting. So yes, we are speaking about NEMRA and being an early researcher or young researcher, like you call it. How has NEMRA benefited you as a person?
Personally, I joined NEMRA when I was finalizing with my PhD. It seemed really, it was a bit not making sense, but when I joined NEMRA, it gave me hope. It supported me when I was doing my final research, and it helped me to know the different things which I was struggling with, because I joined it under the advice of my supervisor, who was Professor Bazeyo William. And I benefited a lot as a person because it equipped me with more skills on how to do research and finish on time. It also helped me to network with other researchers from different universities who were doing the same, and we could meet and greet. We could always encourage ourselves through the psychosocial, what we call the psychosocial sessions, where we could easily identify ourselves and then try to help one another. And it also helped me get some fellowships, because during that period I've so far got like 3 fellowships with different collaborators and universities, one from Karolinska Institute, Sweden, another one from the University of Dar es Salaam, and another one from the University of Washington. Okay. And also won 1 grant under the Makerere Research and Innovations Fund. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you'd be the best person to ask this question, because you have been through the different levels of education. Yeah. You've had the degree, you've had the master's, the PhD, which is scary for so many people who would think of taking that step. You know, most of the cases, most times we do the degree and we just want to end there, and we feel like, okay, that is enough. Okay, for some people it may work for them, but then there are people who want to upgrade but then they are scared of certain things. Now, I'm very sure that one of the goals as to why, or reasons as to why that NEMRA was created was to help with the research and all that.
Sure.
Now, that brings me back to the real question. what are the challenges facing students in school when it comes to research?
Okay, the challenges that are facing school-going students when it comes to research, and with the research we consider a bachelor's because they do, masters and also the PhD holders. One of the challenges is lack of time. Some students don't take it serious that they have to do the research, and you find you heard from the sessions that after the theory they think that they are done, and yet they have to do like a 1 year if it is a master's and then be able to graduate. So that is one of the challenges, and some of them are not focused, because in this you need to know what you want exactly, and then you pursue that before you embark on other roles.
Okay.
Yeah. Then others could be lack of resources, because it takes money also. You need to know exactly who is going to sponsor you or where you are going to get that money to do that research, that you can be able to graduate on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there any other thing that you'd like to talk about, that you'd like to add on, or any advice you'd like to give to anyone pursuing a PhD, a master's, or research in general?
Thank you so much. What I can encourage to my audience is that things have changed and science has changed. The way to go is research and innovations, and that's how countries like China and other developed countries have made it to where they are. We need to embrace it, and we need to translate our research into action to make sure that it doesn't stop in books, but to be able also to translate it to the village people to understand it, to my Jaja who is in the village to understand the importance of research, and that one, it will make us grow as a country.
Okay. Thank you very much, Harriet. So Dr. Peter Samuel is joining me on the show right now, and he is the facilitator for NIMRA. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All right, it was nice having you on the show. So earlier on, you were having a discussion with some of the members, the board members, and some of the beneficiaries. What exactly were you discussing, and what were you telling them? What were you teaching them?
So today is our first day of training of 3.
What is your input in NIMRA? Why did you pick interest in NIMRA?
I was introduced to NIMRA by a gentleman who's doing a PhD at my university, and he's doing his field work in Uganda. He's Ugandan. And they're very much in line with the sort of things I was already doing in East Africa. So I've been doing some doctoral proposal writing training, especially in Rwanda, since 2017. And this is like a follow-on from that. I also have a project in Kenya as well.
All right, that's cool. Well, speaking of NIMRA, it has a lot of objectives, missions, and programming, so much more. How relevant is NIMRA in society today, or in this era, to the students and the beneficiaries?
NIMRA is very much about research capacity building in the nation, and they have a supportive, collaborative approach. So I'm very happy to be working with them. I think perhaps the newer universities needed to catch up quite a lot, and doctoral level tends to be a bit of a bottleneck in universities. If you can't employ people with doctorates, then it's about trying to grow your own within the institution. So if you don't have doctorally trained people, they can't train others. So this is very much what NIMRA has been about, is helping doctoral students with their research, and also early career researchers as well.
How long have you been working with NIMRA?
I think I came here in November 2019, and NIMRA were involved, but then COVID hit in 2020, and we ran a joint. I mean, one of the benefits, bizarrely, with having a pandemic is it forces people online. So we ran a joint session between Uganda, Rwanda and Kenya, which went very well.
Okay.
And then I ran a session here last year on advanced research methods, similar to the one we're doing this week.
Okay.
And that was very well received. And so when I had some spare time, I decided I would come here and just run this for 3 days rather than for a whole week.
Okay, so basing on the goals and the vision that you have for NIMRA, do you think by now you're apprehending those goals? Are you reaching those goals, or are they coming to light now?
I can see we have a members WhatsApp group, and some people are getting doctorates. They're being celebrated. It's a very supportive community. So I can see signs of that progress, but I'm not really the person to talk about these things in terms of objectively measuring things.
Okay.
But it's certainly a growing group, it's a supportive group, they appreciate what I do, and I do believe it's making an impact in the country, and it's needed, so I'm very happy to be involved with them.
As a facilitator of NIMRA, there must be expectations that you have. Nobody just facilitates something without having a vision or looking at where it's heading. So, as a facilitator, what are your expectations in NIMRA?
My expectations are to assist students in their research. The work I've been doing in other countries has been focused on helping students write their proposals, and that's been based around academic writing as well as research methods, and that's very much a specific target. With the work I've been doing here, this is the kind of material we teach to our doctoral students in the UK, and it helps them to achieve in their research. So I can see it having a direct relevance to people here, not just doctoral students but also researchers, to help them to become successful, to do things well, to a better level of quality.
Okay. Well, since NIMRA provides a platform that networks and brings collaboration between different universities, are there any other universities out of Uganda that you're collaborating with, like in the UK, that have similar networks?
There probably are research networks in the UK, but they're not as strong and they're not unique like NIMRA is in Uganda.
Okay.
And because we have capacity already within our universities, we tend to just train our own students. So there isn't particularly a need for that kind of research capacity building collaboration in my country. But I'm keen on doing it within East Africa.
Lovely, good. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add on, say?
Well, it's very kind of NIMRA to receive me at short notice. We had applied for some funding and we hadn't got it, and we were left stranded for a long time waiting for a response. So I thought, well, I must just come. I paid for my own ticket to come here. Okay. I do things as a volunteer. I take time off work. Okay. And my joy is for other people to succeed.
Right, so we have engaged a number of professionals, and we have had lecturers, beneficiaries, students, professors, and so much more. And remember, today our topic has been based on NIMRA, which focuses on research. And the aim of NIMRA is to bring different universities together and give them a platform to network and collaborate, to of course work on their research skills, knowledge, and so much more. Well, that is all we had on the Education Forum today. Until next time, bye-bye.